Yeah, that's right. We live. The sun is going to drop in a little bit, and I'm going to have to adjust my lighting. But until then, we live. Got a lot to talk about today. Let me go through my Coach ITM. All right. Timeliness. Let's see. What's your email? Pardon me, y'all, the great Bob Marley. Gmail. And sorry, y'all, I gotta help a young brother out. What's your email? Yeah, so we'll cover a few things today, all of it in the realm of education. But what I realize is once we do these things, it ends up being a lot of talk about the black state of black folks. So we'll be there as well. Let's see. And let me see. ITF and Minor and Kenny. Okay. All right. So if you haven't already, go to 49thhour.com/shop and go take a look around. The black paper is, I believe, $1.99, and it's worth a read. What else is there? There's wings, strays, all types of stuff, but give it a looky-loo. We're just waiting on two more people, and then we'll get into the live conversation. Last week was cut short because it was Coach's birthday. He was out in the streets. So also we have the chat is live and active or available. It's not active. So if you want to reach out in the chat, if you're more timid, feel free. But these are really opportunities for all of us to have a broader conversation. And Coach and I will be committed to doing it every week. This is actually our 6th live stream. So I like the platform, StreamYard. It's pretty good. And hopefully we are on Facebook as well. It looks like it. So for those of you in Facebook land, hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué tal? And then my YouTube family. Actually, I can see, I'm playing myself. There's one person on, and that's on Facebook, but I can't see who. You mysterious person, you. All right. Worker Studio. And what I can do for you now, since you probably mind waiting a little more than me. Oh, here we go. I was going to go through some of the notes, but Father Frontline.
My levels is good. The levels is good.
Crispy. Yeah. Oh, now you're getting crazy though. You're moving around. Your mic is moving around. Well, the part that's below, like here, that's the mic. So when it goes against anything,
Probably the bed.
there you go. That's your natural state too. That's funny. So already we got live action. I guess that's my Facebook. Yeah, that mic situation is nasty, Coach. Sound like moving around and slithering around. How you doing now? Let's hear it.
definitely don't want to sound slithery.
Now you sound better. You sound better.
Right.
Yeah. So how you doing, man?
Good, man. I'm good. So I just seen some real wicked video about somebody getting murdered in the Bronx, man. It's crazy. This it's how life is just, you know what I'm saying? Like we talk about Joseph and just, to choose life, but like how life is just it's not at a premium in regards to like, people appreciating, being able to be alive. It's like it's cool to die, like being it's like it's cool to be it's cool to die is at an all-time high right now, It's crazy.
Yeah, I can feel the energy. It's just definitely in the air. I have my own feelings on it though. It's strange because I feel like at a certain point the youth are always semi-suicidal. It's part of being young, It's just when you're young and black in 2021, you run into a buzzsaw. And what makes it so difficult at this point is it's almost an invisible crisis. If like put it like this, most of the people I work with, they have no clue. They have no clue what's going on in these streets. So I was listening to a Joe Rogan clip. He was talking to, Buddy on Vice, the white dude that's always getting high. He's always on like he do the Toad and all of that.
Uh-huh.
So he was on Joe Rogan, and it turns out he lives in Brooklyn. But Joe was like, so what's it like in New York? And he was like, well, we just had a storm, so there's all this ice and all this dog doo doo. It's like ice, slush, dog doo doo, and like there's this secondary market of people stealing Amazon boxes from like people who order all the time. He's like, yo, it's like a whole new economy. He's like, it happened to me at 2 a.m. I was just over. I was going in my joint. I left the trunk open. They just. Now we know that's been going on for quite some time, but like the pandemic has definitely made things more exaggerated. But he was just saying like it's really glum in them streets. Like it's really sad in the streets. It was interesting to hear it from him because it's almost like what was reality for us, especially for now, it's magnified but almost invisible to the general public, if that makes sense.
Yeah, man. Listen, I make a habit to try to just tell people. I remember when I was younger, when like y'all would clown me for it, but like now I just make it like I make a habit to just try to tell people, I love them on a regular basis, and like because it's like it's so glum that it's easy to not be in that space and be consumed with the glumminess or the glum and so like I just hit Mo today, you know what I'm saying, like just to let Mo know that what I mean, make sure that keep his third eye open and keep everybody on their P's and Q's out there, man. Not to say that they're not, but like just as like that's part of what we do is like it don't stop when the kids that you connected to become men, you still like you still tapped in and you still got work to do, you know what I'm saying? And like and as an educator you put yourself on the line. It's funny, I was getting prepared for Battle in the Bluffs this year and was just talking about rentals and it made me think about 2 summers ago Tank and everybody came down and I got the house. You pulled up there and Glory was like, yo, don't put it under your name. And I was like, yo, this is how we gotta do it. It's all good and whatnot. And then they end up wrecking the crib. And that's part like that's a casualty of an educator is like, though it kind of jammed us up moving forward in regards to like solidifying rentals, it's like you got to take those L's for your students sometimes. You got to take those L's for the for the people you care about. And so though I would have liked it not to have turned out that way, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm still glad that I was able to get Tank out there. Tank's whole family pulled up, and it was also a learning lesson for me. That's the thing. Like even as an educator, you have to, you have to start to tweak you know, the amount of support or the amount of time you leverage yourself to said student, because said student is now not a child, they're a man now, or they're a younger man or a younger woman. And so it was a real, like, it was a wake up call for me, like, yo, like, though you play a certain position, you also got to remember, now you're not dealing with young men, you're dealing with, in regards to how they're able to maneuver in the world, grown, full adult men. And so, you know, but my point is that, like, it just made me remember today that, like, yo, though I can't get a crib how I would like to, that's the casualties of being a, you know, an educator. Like, you're gonna still lose. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna lose within the system, but you're gonna lose big in regards to the people you care the most about as well.
So what's Battle in the Bluffs 10 looking like now? We got some special cookup. How are we looking?
I mean,
You get a vaccine as soon as you get off the plane. You get Battle in the Bluffs vaccine and a lobster roll.
yeah, vaccines and lobster rolls, right?
Oh, whoa.
We waiting for the permitting to come through, for them to approve the permitting for the park, which I assume that they're going to, because, you know, they said by the end of April, you know, most adults or all adults are going to be vaccinated. And if I recall, if I look back at last summer when we was in the throes of COVID, you know, it was still, for the most part, the venue was open. And so I think now, you know, that the vaccines are rolling out, I think that, you know,
the vineyard is open.
Yeah. So
they was like, we got to protect the vineyard at all costs. Then they was like, but dollars and cents. It was like, come on, yo, you got friends?
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, Texas and Atlanta is open. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's, you know what I'm saying? That's because primarily that's a money move. And so anybody specifically a place that is seasonal, you know what I mean? As the vineyard is, that money, open sesame. So
open sesame.
You know, we're gonna do something to celebrate Mom. You know, you know, I got some T-shirts and stuff like that for the selected few, just to keep Mom's memory.
We gotta do it how we did the free Nana, bro. We gotta have a big Fern Gully photo.
Yeah, so I got that, and I plan on rolling out the Fern Fund, which is similar to Nana, but the ask is more so like we want to continue to be able to bring kids to the vineyard so they can experience the opportunities that we, you know, 100 people donate.
Don't tell me the details. Don't tell me the details. I don't need the special sauce. I just needed to know.
Yeah, but we definitely cooking up. We definitely got some things planned for this year's Battle in the Bluff. It's going to be a two-day model. We're thinking about maybe having a 14th tournament. We're gonna figure it out. But you know, I'm waiting for the paperwork to be approved so that, you know, we can move forward full steam ahead in regards to the logistics.
How my shades rocking?
You looking Thriller in Manila, you heard?
You ain't even peeped the oh, you knew already?
Oh yeah, I know. Come on. Those got cooked up. Those got cooked up when we was in the same building. I know them joints.
Well, man, I'm not out here playing games like that.
Hold on.
I'm more serious than that.
The frames? Hold up. That put me in a whole different bag. I put the frames on. You heard? I just put the frames on. Got me with the bird.
That's crazy. I seen Mel out in them streets. I was like, yo, remember Lil Kamel?
Oh yeah.
I seen him out in this street. I was on my run and I heard somebody yell out, James Harden. I was like, oh God, because he did the white voice. Look, it was Mel. I was like, yo, I love that little dude, man. He's off the chain. Yeah, so man, it's so many things that from my perspective, like I'm over a lot of it, you know what I mean? But I can't take myself serious with those on. But I'm over a lot of it, but it seems like Okay, so remember the workshop we had with the OGs?
Yeah.
All right. So the time that they on and the time that we on, it seems like something real powerful is in the cook up. But I just want to make sure that, so if it's happening here, that means it's happening in other places. You know what I mean? So we know the components that need to come together for it to be executed. But I don't think anyone's thinking in terms of uniting. Oh, am I glitchy?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. I don't think anyone's thinking in terms of uniting the whole. So that's what time I don't want. You know what I mean? Like so I don't know. I don't know. There's just things that, like, I'm over most of it. I don't want to talk about All Star. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about that. But I do want to put the energy out there that I feel something strong is in the cook up. It's crazy because that workshop alone, we did it for the love. Didn't know what to expect. Didn't know there was OGs on the island. And then what they said was what we low key wanted to, you know what I'm saying? They worked right into what, but it also, I could feel like the energy of wanting to, I could feel their energy coming together and then also conflicting because they really coming from different spaces, you know what I mean? Like they haven't had to work together how we had to, you know what I'm saying? So that was like unfortunate. I could see it happening in slow motion at the very end. It was all like, yeah, but I want it. It's like,
I mean, that's the thing about workshop. It lets you see. Because I think about that workshop with an E, Ari, and D. You know what I mean? At the very beginning. And so you talking about at the very beginning, these young men and then these old men, but in areas where they struggled or needed clarity on basically the same thing. In the esoteric like disconnects are one and the same. You know what I'm saying? In regards to like one maybe because when you're talking about people of color, like getting into one space, little things like being on time or whatever, there are so many factors that can derail the conversation, even in jest, right? Even in jest, that it took a certain level of wherewithal for me and you to be able to, you know what I'm saying, get the workshop to the finish line, you know, and like you said, that's an hour, you know, so that's $1,000 hour that, you know what I'm saying, at minimum that we spent. And though we scribe, ultimately, you know, what we got out of it is what we could have went in there saying, okay, here's what you're gonna do. You know, here's what you should do, you know, and so that we could chop this down in 15 minutes and y'all can get back to it. So a part of the process is giving people that they moment to figure it out, be stuck in adversity and work through it. So I think, you know, for that reason it was good.
definitely.
And Billy, I like Billy. Billy's a character, and definitely should be when it's time to let the Ruger spray on whomever. Billy should definitely be the front man because he's with the smoke.
Yeah, you want all the smoke.
Yeah, word.
But it's strange because I want to talk about it, but I don't want to give away anything of what they're doing because I feel like privacy is important. But I do think it's important for us to continue to find folks who need. I mean, organically, the same way it works.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to emphasize. So it's important for us to be available in an organic fashion, right? But it's also important for us to figure out a way to unite. Like we always synergy, like you said, synergy is art. To always find a way to unite our energy. Because I was when I was lesson planning today for my 7th and 8th grade, and then I was reflecting on what we did last week, and I was like, damn, there was some really powerful moments in class last week, like real powerful moments. I was like, I should have a platform to share those moments. That should be part of the school. Like, why would you, And then I realized the problem wasn't me. The problem was the structure of education. We have these silos, and it's like we don't want people to be in these silos for obvious reasons. There's so much CYA, and everything can become so litigious so fast. Where it's like with a good educator, you want to break down as many walls as possible. You want to get that person the greatest platform ever. So I was lesson planning today, and I was doing so where I break my uh, curriculum down into colors. So each block of weeks is a certain color, colors of the rainbow. So we're in blue weeks right now, right? So for blue weeks, we start with a mini lesson on the blues. I show them videos, get their take on it, whatever. So what happens with the blues lesson in blue weeks is it ends up just taking a tangent into a tangent into a tangent. It's like fractal, and so it goes from blues music to the Great Migration of Black people, which kind of propelled blues music, and then it gets more tangential to slavery and reparations. But instead of keeping it housed in the United States, I have a whole lesson on slavery and reparations in Great Britain, because there's this like beautiful fact that very few people know that just blows up your opinion of the general public, and that is that Great Britain actually paid reparations for slavery, but they did not pay the descendants of slavery. They paid like 21 billion, the equivalent in today's money, 21 billion, which no, it was more, but at the time, it was such a large sum of money that they paid for reparations for slavery that if you were a British taxpayer from that time until 2015, you would have been paying reparations for slavery with your tax dollars. Here's the catch. They did not pay slaves or ex-slaves. They paid the slave owners for freeing their slaves.
So, in essence, they didn't necessarily even pay on the books. They paid reparations, but in all actuality, that bread just got siphoned right back into the system. That's crazy.
Wow.
It's not crazy. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, the thing is, yeah, right. But it does blow your mind in a way. And then when you see the documents and how litigious they were, it's like, oh, so this is why the system is so, bureaucratic. This is why, but it's working perfectly.
It's ill because I had my students today decode or create a mini saga on an article about the Meghan Markle interview about some of the things she faced. And the theme was code switching, right? And how they can identify what she went through into regards to, and just align it in 50 words to code switching. So it's ill that like Great Britain story and how even though it's kind of different, that we kind of in sync.
Awesome.
And then a random thing was I was filling out a Teach for America application because I just I don't want to get my master's in law anymore, or not law, but criminal justice, which is law, because just being in it, that semester and a half, being in that class, I learned a lot, but it really took a lot of energy from me. Just confirming things that I've already not only known, but had to be a part of. But then also just to see how how somebody that looks like me in a criminal justice a classroom, how not to say that teachers didn't necessarily like me, but the teachers that like me look like me, and then the teachers who didn't necessarily have space to hear some of the things I was going through didn't look like me. And then ultimately I'm just like, yo, what am I gonna really do with this? So to snapshot to me and Glory talking. I'm like, yo, but I don't want to continue to pay that I've been doing right now. And I could do it at a high level. So I was like, all right, let me fill out this application. Then I'm filling out this application, and it's like the things that
why do you want to do Teach for
America?
America?
I don't necessarily want to do Teach for America. I just want to get a degree for free. And really, you know what I'm saying? Really, I think I put in enough work in for somebody to give me an honorary, you know what I'm saying, honorary master's. I do believe that because the people that get them don't do half of the shit
Of course.
But it's a good look for the college. So I know once the light on us, maybe at college, I'm a lawyer, I tap back in and give me an honorary. But so I'm filling out this application. I'm just like these questions they're asking. I'm like, yeah, I guess if you've never taught before, then you don't necessarily find these questions childish or like lacking real understanding. But I was just like, I was dumbing myself down to fill out these questions, and I'm just like, and now I'm gonna get interviewed by probably somebody who has probably not the equivalent of time in classrooms that I do to prove to them I'm worthy to get into a program to do what I'm already doing. And so I went to go finish the application, and then the application closed, so I couldn't even finish it. And so I was tight about that. But then it might be that might be the blessing in disguise. I don't know.
That's not for you, man. Teach for America? Like, what are you?
I know. And I was just focused on getting like you
guessing.
Just finishing this degree. You know what I mean? Because that's what is going to ultimately legitimize me as an educator. Though you know what I mean, my wealth of knowledge and time on the ground is really what is the most important. If I want to be an educator and I want to get paid to be able to provide my family, I need to prove institutionally that I'm capable of doing what I'm already doing. So it's just like
I think you should. I think you might be wasting your time going the traditional route at this moment in time.
Yeah.
I think it might be more fruitful for you to research schools and institutions and nonprofits that are doing some groundbreaking change. You should link up with Leslie from because she the last time I talked to her, she was hiring. She wanted somebody for her New York position, but I like a dummy, I was like, I just locked in this job up here. I should have took that. Damn it, that was stupid. God, what was I doing? Anyways, yeah, sorry, that just hit me in waves. Linking with her, I'm sure she might solve all your problems. Because she knows how to satisfy the bureaucratic machine that loves to gobble up key phrases. She knows how to play that game. Yep. She also knows like the need to slide the medicine in the candy with like real people like us. So yeah, so like think, because there's going to be a lot of change coming up. So the systems that they'll still have their say. You know what I'm saying? These are well built foundational things that are going to take a lot of time to move, but they will be moved. And the people who are creating the change at this point, it's a lot.
That's why I said it really because I'm saying like it's important to be able to, you know what I'm saying, though. You know, I was upset about it. You know, it's important to get people feedback on it. That you know, what I'm saying, like I talk about Teach for America all the time in ways that they put people in the classrooms that not necessarily prepared to do what they need to do in the classroom. And so then I found myself applying for the application. I'm like, but then I was like, I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay anymore to collect any more debt or have to take any more loans to get this degree that is going to legitimize me. So I was just thinking like, okay, well, how can I do it so I don't necessarily have to accrue any more debt or accrue any more bills. And so that like ultimately that was my thought process. But even while doing it, I was just like, damn, look at you. You know, look at you.
Look at you. Look at you.
Look at you.
Booty shaking.
Look at you. So,
let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this. Do you think it's I mean
I got you. All right. My fault.
Who's that? Stacy?
No, that was T. That's how long.
Anyways, do you think it's like? Do you think it is a bad thing that we haven't been recognized for the work that we've done, or do you think it's a good thing? Because I was thinking about this on my run today, because I was thinking. So, do you think it's do you see it more as yo, what's wrong with people? Like, we put in so much work, we did, if you just look at our statistics, our people, our fundraising, our cultural, I mean, we've created a whole, anyways, we've done a lot. We're still young. We're young OGs, you know what I'm saying? Do you think it's a negative thing that people haven't recognized us for our work yet, or a opportunity, a positive thing?
I think it's a positive thing, but I say that because I know that in the grand scheme of things that God, whomever, doesn't necessarily give you things when you want them, and though I may have felt prepared, or I may thought that I was ready. When the light when the light is on you, that's when it's time for you to be at the best version of yourself. And so I know we on God's time all the time, man, and the Most High is ultimately in control. But I do, but being a human, there's times where I'm just like, I look around and I see, people being praised, people being awarded, and like it makes me feel a certain way. But like it's similar to, and I tell this story all the time because it's a good story. When Euro got the dean job, I had to tell him I was tight in order to get over it, because I felt like if anybody should have got that job, it was me. I'm the person who got him the job, and so I had to tell him that. So
you snaked me.
No. I'm sorry. I got both of y'all the job, but I didn't have no. Nobody asked.
Whoa.
I mean, I put y'all both in contact with SOF. That's what I mean.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure.
I was the connector, and so my point is that
shout out to Craigslist too.
Huh? Yeah, it's worse. Shout out to Craigslist. But I assume that anybody would have been offered a position. It might have been me, but it wasn't. And then in order to be happy for him, I had to first get over like being tight. You know what I'm saying? Like because I felt a certain way, and so I had to be like, yo, bro, like I ain't gonna front. Good, I'm happy for you, but I'm also tight so that I wouldn't hold on to that no more. And I have to do that, on a regular basis, just to not get caught in the. My mom always said you don't shit on yourself, and so don't shit on anybody else. And so I could easily say I should, or we should be in a better place right now, where we should have the light on us. But if it's not on us, that means it's not supposed to be on us, and then we got to continue to do the work. But what I tell Kenny all the time, I said whomever that person is that puts the light on us, that we're gonna make that person look good. But ultimately, when you look at the resume, when you come in contact with us and you decide to do your due diligence and do your research, it's like our stat line is like 9-time All-Star selection, first team Hall of Fame ballot type work that we're doing. And so
we put up GOAT numbers in the league for sure. Yeah. But YB, I'm gonna ask you the same question, but go ahead, Coach. I'm gonna let you finish.
No. So whether the light comes on us while we're here, or if it happens, while we're not here, whatever happens, like it can never erase the work. You know what I'm saying? It ain't never going to erase the work. You know what I mean? Saying, and we don't do it for pats on the back, and we don't do it for recognition. We don't go outside and hand out cheeseburgers and tape ourselves, and you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the stuff we do, it's not seen, and we have countless hours of footage. But most of the most important stuff that we do is not on film, and so I don't expect everybody to show us love, but ultimately, when it's all said and done, my kids will be able the path that I set and we set. My kids will be able to follow that and empower people and generations for the next 30, 40, 50, 100 years. And so if the light ain't on me and it's on them, and that's how God wanted, then that's how it's going to be. But the work, what I'm saying, can't stop, won't stop.
That's a fact. So YB, what I was saying, on my run, it was dawning on me that I'm one of the only black male educators on island. I might be the only one at this point. I mean, there's another guy, I think he works at the high. I think he's black, but I'm not sure. But see, that's what I mean. Like, if I'm not sure, then there we are. So, but I was like on my run, I was passing the cemetery and I was like, yo, how crazy is it that with all this stuff going on, y'all want to talk about black equity, racial equity, black education, but nobody has reached out to the one black male educator on island. Like, that is a story in and of itself, right? I was just like, my mind was kind of blown. And then I had to make a quick run before I finished my advisory. So I was like hitting the post office, hitting Reliable. And I was in the parking lot and I seen an old head and I felt some kind of way. And I was like, that's weird, because I love old heads. But I realized that she was doing, she had a talk anyways, long story short, it made me realize, dear God, don't let me be the old head who's still trying to tell their story when the platform is not for them. They've been had their time. The platform is for the people who got the stories that are relevant now. Like, dear God, don't let me be that old head. And then I realized I already wrote my books. I already said my piece. I already spread the love that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, I'm not going to be that old head. And if I'm not getting the recognition that is necessary for us to unite the educators such as us, then that's God's plan. That's how it's supposed to be. It made me feel like so comfortable. Like immediately I was like, oh, like this is the plan. Not supposed to have a light right now.
Thanks.
Yeah. So the question was like, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that we don't have that we got to continuously fight for, like, how many people are on here? 5 people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, I personally, I'm like, I get tight about it because I'm like, yo, this is so dope, and y'all feel the same way. It'd be like, yo, this is so dope that more people should know about it. But then I like look at the work that we're doing, and I look at all the people we touched and connected with, and I'm like, like, I'm like, yo, what we're doing is so dope. It's like, if nobody ever knows about this, the people that we connected with is gonna know about it, and maybe you never know. Like, we might be gone by the time they tell our story. You know what I mean? About these dope dudes that, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at Fred Hampton. They finally got his story together in a movie, and people were like, yo, I didn't know this, and we're like, yo, how you not know?
Yeah.
So I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I think, as a person that likes to create and stuff like that, I think, like, I want people to know, you want people to see your art, people see your work. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm gonna continue to do the work even if nobody is even looking. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things.
Happy birthday, Chet Pease, as well.
Yes. Happy birthday, Pease.
Happy birthday, Pease.
That's my guy, man. It's dope, man.
It's funny, I met him once, but I could tell he was just super solid.
Yo, the most humble, righteous man I ever, like, you know what I'm saying? Just so humble. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, Just reminds me of those, Rasta dudes. It's just like everything Irie, like always smiling in his face. Like when he's angry, it's kind of like you know what I mean. It's not like it's funny. It's like so it's still fun. The stuff that he gets angry about. Yeah. Shout out to Peas, man.
All right, we at the 40-minute mark. So if there's any like pop culture stuff we want to talk about, let me know, and I'll try to timestamp it. I haven't really done it, and I only did it once when we talked about Malcolm X. But YB mentioned Fred Hampton, and it's a few things circulating in the air. Teachers getting vaccinated, all this other stuff. Anything y'all want to talk about? I'm fair game, man.
PSAL is talking about getting back rocking, right, Kenny?
Yeah, they're talking about. I just seen. Actually, I was just training some kids, and like where I was, there was a big NCAA bus, and they're gonna do it in the city, I think. So they just rented out some hotel, like the whole hotel for all the teams. So I'm curious how that's gonna go down. But yeah, the sports is supposed to be coming back. I'm supposed to be coaching. That's why I've been busy. I'm supposed to be starting up coaching again, and they want me to coach everything now. So. A lot of folks are scared to so that we had a teacher that did track, and she was just like, yeah, I'm not doing track this year, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let the kids not do track. I'll do it, like, you know what I'm saying. So a lot of people are like kind of scared and stuff like that, but
a lot.
I'm like, listen, kids gotta run around, man.
Scared of
COVID,
but see, like the same, and this is just me, like the same teachers that what I'm saying, like the same people who are scared of COVID are the same people who are scared of if you sign on to empower kids, right? And that job is outside of your your own comfort zone. What you're supposed to be doing is supporting the youth. And then when you're asked to do what you signed on to do, and you allow and you tell me you're scared. That to me is like, okay, well, that's the same excuse. Though the trauma may have changed, maybe because it's not Brownstone, Brooklyn. It's not Brownsville, Brooklyn. It's COVID, but now you have you're scared to tap in. Like to me, like that's a cop out. And so not to say like if you autoimmune or there's certain things that, but not I feel like you signed up for this, right? And so yeah, COVID may have not known that COVID was around the corner, but at the end of the day, this is what you're supposed to do. What about the kid? Sports is super important, and ultimately the kids who need sports are I mean, all kids need sports, but the kids who like us, like change their lives. Like if I have basketball. And I was in school right now, I wouldn't be going to school.
Yeah, facts.
If I had a teacher tell me, I can't, I'm not going to do basketball because I'm scared, and this is somebody that I care about, and I thought cared about me, and they said they were scared. That's the reason why they wouldn't do it. I'd be like, well, I'm scared to leave my crib and take the train every day to go to school.
Right.
But if I tell you that, you're gonna tell me I don't care. Like, where's your assignment? Well, why you ain't go? Why is it 100 days? Why you been absent 50 days? Well, because on the corner, right by the train station, it's a blood block, and I'm not gang affiliated, so I'm scared. Like, I don't like how that can be something that's applied to educators, but then when students say it for whatever reason, either they're scared to go home, they're scared to come to school, they're scared to leave their block. It's like, well, I don't have no real wealth of knowledge or understanding of what you're scared about, so I can't accept it or understand it. To me, I can't get with it,
Yeah, that don't make any sense to me either. Like, you could tell they're just doing it for a check. To be honest, you could tell they're just doing their job for a check. Like, they're not really in it for the kids. Like, the reason why I said I don't know anything about track or soccer or any of these sports they asked me to coach. But I'm like, yo, listen, they're gonna need a coach. They need somebody to push them hard and show them that I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm worried about COVID too, like everybody else. But at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I gotta do this job because no one else will.
Yo, I'm scared to get clapped, yo. I come to
Facts.
If I take it, this is just my thing. Like, I take the train every day. If I don't drive, I'm taking the train 4 days a week, yo. If I walk down, if I'm walking from Penn Station to 23rd, I could bump somebody the wrong way. I could step on somebody's sneakers. Like, yo, I'm scared just coming to school on a regular day. You know what I'm saying? Like the cops, if I gotta drive, I'm fear. It's not like I'm getting upset. I'm getting tight that like now fear is an adequate reason not to give. Not to give the. It's just making me tight, man. And you see the homeboy Karaza, he stepped down, and we got a new person, and so it's like, yo, he just shifted his way up out of there because he wrangled the pandemic educational rollout, and so now he threw the deuce up, left it to somebody else, right? And so it's just so high school comes back in New York the 19th or the 22nd. The 22nd of March, and so like it's just like, yo, it's so haphazard. It's like, yo, let's get back to business.
Come back. Like
high schools, if high school students can opt back in to in school learning on March 22nd.
They haven't been in school.
Yeah, high school has been foremost. Middle school has come back. Some on a hybrid version, depending on your school or your district. But middle school is back popping 4 to 5 days a week, and now high school comes back the 22nd of March. And I guess every district is able to modify their schedule in a way that's going to appease the student body.
You get your own personal show.
Yeah. And the thing about that lady getting put into that position, right? Everybody got kind of hyped because she was black. But they don't know that, like we're about to have a new mayor. So when a new mayor is gonna be elected, he could easily just tell her to kick rocks. You know what I'm saying? Like he could easily tell her to kick rocks and pick a whole nother person. So I think it's like a funny game that the politics is playing and everything, man.
It's optics. I mean, I've done a little bit of background, and I think she's probably a great lady, but the fact that she's a black woman, that's a chess move, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you take the most disrespected people like pretty much on the earth, you put them in a position of power in the midst of a pandemic. To me, it's like a setup. They just set her up to fail.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but even if that's not the case, it's chess. It's like, yo, here's another way we're trying to change. Look, but what you don't address is that the reason why you're trying to change is because you failed so majorly. Homeboy had to just breathe, had to just slide out, and now you say, you know what, punk, black lady, you take it over from now. Like, yo,
it's crazy.
Now people are like, yeah, and I hope Shorty do a great job. I hope she hold it down. But the reality is that they put her in a position to fail. But before she fails, the system takes all the awards and accolades for doing the right thing.
Yes.
And by the time people realize that it wasn't the right thing, it was just a chess move, it's already over because the new mayor in and whomever else knew is going to be taking her spot. So it's crazy the games that I'm saying that are happening right in front of our face, and some of us are so happy to see them happen.
No, it's a big fact, man. Oh man.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Since we're talking about high school, though, I know we talked about this maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Like high school players now officially can make up to $100,000, $100,000 a year while they're in college. While they're in high school, and if they don't decide to go pro, they can towards their college tuition.
Hold on. And if they don't decide to go pro, they can what?
They get $100,000. They can get like $100,000 towards their college tuition.
I like that.
But like, let's decode that, right? So the kids who are gonna opt in to possibly being able to get paid that money are the same kids that would probably play at college, which is maybe 1 out of 100, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was gonna say
Go ahead,
Yeah,
coach.
go ahead.
No,
I
go.
was gonna say I'm not really invested in black athleticism anymore. Like that's not where like just that's just me personally.
Yep.
Um I fully support it, but I just feel like it just first of all, those are our warriors. Those are supposed to be people who's supposed to be thinking front line. And what we do is we allow them to be elevated like social media darlings. It's like, nah, like you're a big warrior. Like you're the most physically dominant thing that we have. Like you shouldn't be taking pictures of your sneakers and your salads. Like he's supposed to be out there killing. But like so it used to be in the 20s, 40s, 60s. That was the role for that was the elevation of that character. That was the artist. That was the creative. That's who was in that position. It used to be, and I'm not talking about like a golden age. This is eras that this was the case. The 20s, the 40s. Like look it up for real. Uh, that's why you know who Miles Davis and John Coltrane and all these people because they were the artists and they were elevated. Like who were the athletes then? You don't know because we didn't elevate athletes like that. Like the athletes had a more specific role. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like we kind of force our artists to be drug addicts because they have to live in this alternate reality where they know their value, but they have to pretend that they don't. So it's like just imagine some of our most talented rappers, right? They're running around talking about shooting people in the face, but they're the most sensitive among us. They know what they're doing. Like think about Jay-Z selling crack. He's a genius. He's selling crack. He knows, like, man. So I'm more invested in like figuring out how to mend that social fabric. The black athleticism. Oh, I've still got the thing up. Black athleticism. I'm for it in terms of giving. Like, I think it's very therapeutic. I think it solves a problem that we don't have the words yet to describe. Like, I think without open gym on Saturdays, we miss out on so much community. You know what I'm saying? So I'm for it in the sense of community, but I'm not for it in the sense of elitism. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like why I don't think you deserve $100 million because you could dunk. Like I would rather use your physicality to intimidate some countries.
Yeah.
And if
No, I mean, I think, no, I agree with you. It's just the fact what I think about is like the people making the money off these kids, and so that's why I'm like maybe they should get some bread because I'm like a lot other people are making bread off them, so maybe they should get some bread. But like I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like
Yeah, I
maybe
agree with what you're saying too.
we should
Completely.
focus on, you know what I'm saying, like the mind, like, you know, basketball and everything is cool. Like it kept me out of trouble, did a lot of things for me mentally. Um, but yeah, like the focus, like other kids should be getting paid too for their work and for
Yeah.
their
Yeah, like
mind.
where's the next Bob Marley?
I mean, I think honestly, I think everybody like I think if they paid kids to go to school, I
Yeah,
mean,
so
I was part of a
it's sports, so it's not like this. It's not just like kids now can monetize their self. So it's not just for basketball players. It could be for kids in high school. If you start to monetize that, it won't affect your ability to go to school collegiately, no matter what you're doing. If it's not basketball,
Yeah, but outside of sports, it never affected you anyways.
it's
The problem is it's hard to monetize. Like if you were a musician, like and you made money off of your music, you could still go to Juilliard. You could still, it didn't change Berkeley School of Music. It didn't change that. But the thing is, like, how it's impossible to monetize because we haven't created a culture where people care about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that some of that is it seems like overwhelming to think about, right? But I think once you start to redirect the conversations there, it makes more sense. It's like what I would rather find a young singer who clearly has a story to tell, who clearly can move people, and have a small group of us get behind them, not in any exploitive way, just like this is someone that clearly needs to shine, and let figuring out a way to let them shine. I really just I don't understand how we have so many talented individuals and they all get funneled into like basketball and rap. It's like, how does that even make sense? That seems like the setup in and of itself to me.
Yo, that's what I think about all the time, man. Like I like growing up, man. Like I used to write poetry. Like in middle school, I wrote some really good poems, and I had a writing teacher who was trying to get me to go to writing camp, which at the time I thought was just the craziest thing in the world. I'm like, what are you talking? I'm going to basketball camp. I'm playing ball this summer, but a little bit of like a part of me wanted to go. Like a part of me really wanted to go, but like I felt like I got sucked into like society and everything, and I was just like, nah, I'm gonna just hoop. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna just what you mean? I'm not gonna. So like, it's a little bit of just the environment shifting people into doing things a little bit. Like people got control over themselves.
Yeah, because let me segue off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to a writing workshop called Callaloo, right? And this is right when I graduated college. Maybe it was my senior year, but I was supposed to get published in Callaloo. And then when I didn't get published, they were like, "But we'll offer you this 2-week writing workshop with a." And I was like, "I'm not going to no writing workshop." But when I talked back with my teacher who plugged me, he was like, "Oh no, you gotta go. This is like you don't even understand what you missing out on." He's like, "And they're paying for your flight, like." Oh no, they were paying for the room and board or something. I just had to pay for the flight, and I was like, "All right, man, I'll go." YB, when I tell you, it was like X-Men for writers. There was like 12. I'm not kidding. For Black writers, there was like 12 poets, 12 fiction writers, and each person, I was like, "Yo, like I gotta catch up to them in my way," because like I knew that I was valid, but I knew that every other person was valid, and we would just stay up all night talking about ideas and workshopping and going out. It was in College Station, Texas. The airport is called George Bush Airport. It's like you people open carry, but in the middle of the most racist like part of America, Texas A&M was this like X-Men for young Black. I mean that changed my life. You know what I'm saying? So even that little moment, like had you gone,
I might have been a whole different person.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I always think back on the times like that. I always encourage the young ones, like, yo, don't listen. Basketball might not be for you. You might have another talent. Like I always tell them, like you might have a whole other talent that you haven't even tapped into yet.
Facts. Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to hijack the conversation, but the good Lord was in me. He said, "Speak your piece."
That's all good.
But I still think ultimately, no matter what, I think that for them to roll whatever they're gonna roll out, just like we said everything else, like they gotta really flush it out and decode it, because what I see is that it just adds more turmoil to an ecosystem that is already fractured and pits students against one another, and adds a whole nother element now in high school now that these kids have to deal with. Because if somebody can make $100,000, I know if I had to say in this school who that kid would be, I could tell you what it was, and you can pinpoint who that kid is who would possibly line up for that. And so if I can pinpoint that, and I don't want anything from him, that means everybody who wants something, everybody who wants to be attached to that, can also any young women or older women who wanna ride the wave, or who wanna leech, is like, are you going to now roll that out, but also make sure that these kids have the proper understanding and backing to not get caught in the pitfall? Because now this 100 bands could ultimately make sure that this kid doesn't make it to the league. Ultimately make sure that this kid doesn't make it out of high school, because now this kid is a target. And so though we say we protect, there are those kids who get protected because they're nice, that's not always the case. And sometimes, depending on where you're from, if you get that 100 bands, but you still living in the projects, doesn't necessarily that bullet don't gotta be for you, right? We've seen it happen this year, or last year, to a young man who playing at a high level and had wild love, but due to his proximity and where he lived, though he had wild love, it wasn't enough love to navigate a stray bullet, right? And so, this to me sounds like a great idea, right? But like most of these ideas, it's not necessarily based on the kid. It's based on continuing to feed the beast, continuing to feed the system, which NCAA. Now they talking about playing, they paying players, or players can play now. But for the past 100 years, this has been the most successful money earning nonprofit in history. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so
right. Right. So like what? So then what are we? Why is that's kind of the point. I think we're making the same point. Like you're saying, the 100K that he can monetize now just makes him a bigger target, and makes it actually harder for him to succeed, or her to succeed, because of all the leeches and whatever. Like, they're monetizing the black body, basically. They're saying you can monetize yourself first, but your black body will be monetized. Yeah. So I think it's on us to say, all right, well, if we're going to monetize anything, like, let's monetize time and effort into creating spaces where we can have real conversations, so that people can have a real, that's what's missing. That's what's missing. You got a bunch of broken generations pointing fingers at each other. Y'all wasn't there for us. Y'all not doing enough. Man, I look back to my grandmother and her brothers. Each one of them made history in something, like history, like number one. The hell we complaining about? You know what I'm saying? Imagine being number one, yo.
They're the first ones to ever do stuff, man. Like, they're the ones. I think about that, man. Like, being the first one to, like, I saw a picture of a mother. I forget who the young lady is, but the mother was taking her daughter into an all-white school for the first time. I was just seeing a picture. I was like, yo, I would just turn around and go home. Yo, I was like, yo, I'm not dealing with it. Just to go to school, I'm out. You know what I mean? For them to do that is like, yo, mind-boggling. It's like,
think about how many times we're the only black face in these education situations.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the awkwardness, and it's so awkward all the time. I feel like I'm just always in an awkward, just like, it's just like this break in the conversation was like, yeah. And we're like, what do we talk about next?
Getting taught a PD by somebody who couldn't command a room in a 2-bedroom apartment, let alone in some of the spaces that we are proficient at. And so, like, it's crazy.
It really is. I'm just like, sometimes I'm like,
you're not a storyteller. You're not a storyteller. That's obvious. And so what we want to do is, are you scared? This is a bunch of teachers.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
But it's like, what it is too, is like it's a power of, like, the mind, like being smart, because when you're an educator, like, it's scaled up like the same way in school. You're smart if you have a 4.0, right? You're smart if you have if you're a teacher and you have a master and you're tenured, then that means that you're a smart teacher. So, like, as somebody who's going in to teach these people, they're like, oh, wow, I'm in this room full of educated people. Really, you in a room full of educated dumb people, right? Because they so smart, they dumb. You know what I'm saying? You so educated that you're stupid. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we here.
And they need PDs to even know how to interact with people.
Yeah.
Like, what? How do you? Like,
so
they have
smart.
classes.
You're so smart.
I took a workshop one time because I was like kind of forced to, and it was literally like how to make what was it? It was something about like making kids feel comfortable or something like that. I'm like, you can't be serious. Like, you know what I'm saying? Didn't y'all go to school for how long?
Yo, Kenny, I went to a PD on classroom management, and the person leading the PD couldn't control the room. She's like, "Yo, it's a little too much." Mind she's talking to adults, so she's like, "Oh, you know, I need you guys to how we do it in the PD." And then she went as far to say, like, you know, you wouldn't want to get an unsatisfactory report back to your school. I'm like, yo, how are you teaching me about classroom management, and you got a room full of adults that you can't figure out how to maneuver and have at least a decent day without having to tell somebody they're about to get in trouble? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm glad I'm getting paid for this, because if I wasn't, this really would be a real waste of time.
Until you find out how much she got paid.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we need to be doing the PDs. That's why
Our PD push came about so organic that it just makes perfect sense. Like the first one with School of the Future, I'm not gonna lie, I was super nervous. But then once I was presenting how we changed the culture in the school, and then Ben Mook spoke, and then but he was like, yo, y'all don't even understand. When I go into coach office and hear these student circles, like, it's crazy. Like and then from there I was just like, okay, just show them what we've been doing. But it's like little simple things that we know how to do because we had to come through the fire. You know what I'm saying? Like going through the fire teaches you everything you need to know about handling heat. But a lot of these teachers, the PD people, at least, they think it's up here. Like, they're not storytellers. They don't know how to, like, think about it like this. In order for you, it don't matter what you're saying. It's like what you're emitting energetically. Like, if you could be a bumbling fool, but if you feel like you confident, if you got the right energy, then people feel like energetically tied to that, you know? So you see like a little scared person up there, like, well, and then if it should take 4.5 minutes to get, if you give them an exit ticket, then that ensures that they're engaged to the exit. If I hear one more exit ticket, you think the exit ticket is going to save you?
That's the part of the exit ticket.
Exit ticket.
When you're so educated, failing is bad. And we all know that failing is a major component to success.
We are rushing towards the failure. That's what we're like Kane said, like I work until I find a point where I fail, and that's why I really start to, like, that's real. Like, we need to
graduate with a 4.0, you know what I'm saying, and you was summa cum laude in college, and that's you teach from that lens where failing is, you know what I'm saying, like, you've been indoctrinated. And so, you know, that's what the system does to educators. It indoctrinates you and says this is what's important. And so most teachers, when they get in to the school, they have to unlearn, and they don't really start unlearning until you get have a conversation with somebody like us. And until then, like, you're having kids pass, but the kids who are failing and who dislike you will never like you and will never pass your class because to you failure is bad. And so you don't know how to operate. You don't know how to operate with that kid's failure, because you don't necessarily know that failure is a good thing, because you've been told that, you know, you can only monetize passing. You can only monetize success, and success is only connected to passing and good grades. And we all know that. I tell kids all the time, yo, listen, see your way through college, because you get your degree. Nobody asks you for your GPA. Nobody. when you go to that job interview, they don't say, oh, well, what's your GPA? Do you have the degree or don't you? But 4.0, kill yourself for these grades, and then you get out here into the real world. Not only do you got a 4.0, but you can't get a job, and nobody's even asking about your blue or purple stripes you got at graduation that signify all of this great academia you've learned, but doesn't translate in the real world. And like,
That's why I think it's so good that during the pandemic, we reached out and workshopped again, because I really do feel like all of those workshops during the pandemic, they're gonna be. I don't know how it's gonna pan out, but I think they're gonna be jet fuel for people when they're bouncing back into whatever situations they're bouncing into. I really do think one of the main questions you're gonna get asked is, what did you do during the pandemic? And if you could say, well, I linked back in with my people and we workshopped and it was crazy. We had man, there was so many moments in workshop. YB with your man's getting free from Adrian and Sarika. I keep messing up her name. Just being out there, like giving us a like the COVID rundown and Juice working in the. It was crazy. It was so much. Like I'm not even doing it justice right now, but being able to have that as a story, like when somebody's like, "So what did you do for the pandemic?" It's like, oh, like we built. You know what I mean, we built.
Nah, we definitely did. I think because in District 2 right now, I think they're gonna really need folks like us because a lot of schools are gonna have to change their whole curriculum because there's no more lottery, and you might have a kid that's not strong in those fields of learning that what I mean they're gonna be put in places like a lab and stuff like that.
Wait, hold on. Tell me more. There's no hold on. Tell me
Oh,
more.
I thought you knew about this. So they took away the lottery. So it was like, correct me if I'm wrong, Coach. It was like you kids put down the school on their list, 1 through whatever, and then the school picks the kids.
Yeah.
But now it's you get to choose a little bit, but you might not get that kid. It's kind of random. So you might get a kid. Lab might get a kid from the South Bronx that haven't had that rigid learning curriculum that a lot of district kids have.
Rigorous.
Yeah, rigorous, and you know what I'm saying. So they might jump into lab, and you might have a teacher that's so used to teaching a certain way that he or she might have to slow it down or might have to teach in a whole different way. So they're gonna need folks like us because it's gonna get real for a lot of teachers.
Oh, you might have a teacher got to throw the gloves on. You might have to throw the gloves
on. That's a fact. I even
spicy. You might have to throw the gloves on. Like, call a mom too. Say, listen, I'm talking spicy. Before I let them throw the gloves on, I got your permission. Now,
yes.
You might have throw the gloves on. Everybody with that.
So I had a girl that I coached. Man, she was tough. She was from the South Bronx, but her mom was like, "Oh, listen, whatever you got to do." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever you, and like, when she first got there, I wasn't her coach because she was like in 6th grade, so I didn't know her that well. When she first got there, it's funny because the teachers were just telling the story. But she first got there, she was just so out of like, you know what I mean? She was just so tough that it was like people, like teachers that really didn't know how to handle her. So she was in the hallway, like I guess a teacher tried to tell her something, and she was like, "This white B word better get out my way." Like this skinny white B word, right? And the teachers is looking at each other like, which one is she talking to? Like, because we're all skinny and white. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, which one is she talking to? But like, because I was able to show this girl basketball, and then I was like, all right, if you're going to play this game, you got to make sure you behave in school and all these things. She, over the years, she got better. Like, she went from this like totally disrespectful, like I can't even say some of the things that she was saying, to like, showing love, being respectful, saying good morning in the morning. That, to me, that was a win. I was just like, yo, she's saying good morning to y'all. Like, that was a win to me. So they're going to need folks like us because there are going to be more girls like that in these schools, and these teachers are not going to be able to handle it. You know what I mean? A lot of teachers in District 2 feel like, oh, I love my school, because you really love your school because it's not challenging. You know what I'm saying? It's not really challenging you. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, oh, I love my school because I come in every day and I do this. And that's why a lot of teachers is like, oh, I'm scared of COVID. I'm not going to do this work now. Like, what happened? You was doing this work, like, just put the mask on, and
you was all in. You was coming to work sick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. You was sniffling coming into work. Now it's like, oh, I can't do that. Like that joint is crazy to me.
Yeah. Well,
They're gonna need folks like us, man.
Yep, we at the 1 hour 15-minute mark, so it's time to wrap it up. I don't have any closing remarks.
Yes, sir.
I like to check in with y'all, see if there's anything we missed. I think we had a lively conversation for sure.
Yo, the best educators are that realize that they still students, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the best educators.
Yes.
And if you're an educator and you scared, get a bodyguard or something. I don't know, man. Like I'll have scared educators because I'm on the ground front line all the time. I gotta tell kids put their mask up. I don't want to catch the Rona neither. You feel me? I don't want to catch the Rona.
Yeah.
I don't want to get popped. I don't want to get pulled over by the cops. All of those things. But I don't got time to be scared. So if you a scared educator and you on my line, you know, I'm tapping pockets. Everybody getting a pocket tap. You heard? If you don't want to go to work, send me your check. You heard? Send me your check.
Wow.
Send me your principal name. Wow. I get that building staff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
big facts. Big facts.
ITM staffing agency.
That's how I'm on it. But yeah, great talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, YB, go get a lineup.
Never. I want to try to look like the original man.
Yeah, you are the original man. You look like you invented the wheel. You heard? And fire.
Yo, I like the look, YB. He get a kufi. He get a kufi. He act brand new.
Nah. I was on because I was chefing up. We chefing up in here, so I put the, you know, like I'm in the I put the internet on because I knew we was about to start. You know what I'm saying? Getting the game. So I thought it was appropriate.
Heard you. All right, fellas. Well, I don't have anything, so I just appreciate the conversation as always. This is the most people we had locked in, so maybe that's
Yo, if you scared, and you a teacher, create a curriculum. Stay at home, create a curriculum.
Facts. That's just great. Scared, go to church, man.
Word.
All right, well,
I'm a teacher. You zoom back down.
Love y'all, man.
Love y'all too, man. Be safe out in them streets.
Yeah, facts.
All right, one love.
One.